Welcome to a new edition of the Neon Jazz interview series with veteran Kansas City guitarist Fleeman on the 2022 album Saturday Afternoon, live at the Green Lady Lounge. This album serves as his first solo album, and it comes at the ripe young age of 70 years old for him. He's been a staple and a legendary backup player to the likes of Deborah Brown and the great Marilyn Maye. We get into the beautiful struggle of original music, the iconic Green Lady, Kansas City, and how it's risen, gigs, and so much more. Always a pleasure catching up with the legendary Rod. Enjoy this interview.
Good afternoon, Rod. How are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm wonderful. It's great to catch up with you. Thanks for taking a minute out today.
Sure.
I've had so much fun, my wife and I, seeing you in so many different incarnations playing music. So it's always a joy. I mean, that I don't know what it was like sitting behind her, but Deborah Brown was amazing that night at the Kaufman.
Oh yeah, she's pretty much amazing all the time.
That's for sure.
She's incredible. You know, I've been blessed to be able to work with some incredible vocalists like Marilyn Maye, Carn Allison, a little time with Diane Shure, but man, yeah, that's quite an honor to work with Deborah.
Well, and this project that I wanted to talk to you about is your own project at the Green Lady, and I want to know, how did this project come about? You've been in the scene for so long. You've backed up, as you've said, so many singers and musicians. How did this solo project with the iconic Green Lady stamped on it, how did it come about?
Well, a few years ago, I started doing the Saturday afternoon slot, and in the meantime, John Scott's been a tremendous supporter, and he suggested that we do a live recording, and of course, and then he plays it on Green Lady radio, and then of course things got interrupted by the pandemic, and took some time off. Everyone took time off, and but this recording that just came out, Volume 1, is with Todd Strait, who is now living in Portland, and so I just we recorded it. This is some little while ago, right before the pandemic, and then it kind of sat around for a while because everything got interrupted, and but then I'd hear it being played, on the sound system, Green Lady radio, and I go, this sounds pretty good, and then Ken Lovern, who works closely with John, said the same thing. So John Scott's really the one who put this together, and with this, and Ken Lovern, mixing it and all of that, and it just all of a sudden it was there, and we've recorded Volume 2 will be out soon, and that's with Ray DeMarchi playing drums now, but still Gerald Spates on bass, and so it's been really it's been a long time coming. I'm almost 70 now, so it took a while, but I'm very excited to have something out, under my own name, and also the other thing that it's been a tremendous boost is when John, called me about starting up the Saturdays again. He had reached the conclusion that he wanted to go with all original music. I think in part because of the licensing for having Green Lady radio, keeping everything in house, is what it's about, and so that was the challenge. Then was now okay. We're going to do 3 hours of original music. That sounds kind of daunting, because as jazz musicians, we're so used to playing our standards, playing the the songs that we've been playing all our lives. So that actually turned out to be one of the best things that ever happened to me, because I started really writing a lot more. I had more motivation than I've ever had before, because you don't want to play the same songs every week. You want to. There's some things that are you can go to, that that, never get old. You're playing a blues head and you're playing the blues, right? So you never get tired of that. But I wanted to have more material, so I started really writing a lot, and it's been a great motivator for me. So that's the other thing I'm excited about, is to be able to get some of my original songs out there and exposed, out there to be heard. And so that's been a super motivator for me.
I think one of the beauties of this, too, is that there's a series of these albums that are coming out of the Green Lady Lounge, and it's really turned into an iconic signature for jazz shrines nationwide, and if not Kansas City. So how special is it to have that Green Lady on there? And do you think that Kansas City's cognizant of what a gem they have in the Green Lady?
It's. I think sometimes, you make a great point that I think there's a lot of talk about the club throughout the country. In fact, the world. I hear reports back about people talking about the Green Lady Lounge in Kansas City. So I think it's really kind of, in a way, it's kind of ushering in a renaissance of kind of what's been going on. I think sort of for some time, don't you think? Like the Kansas City. I think when I first started playing, in town, like 1972, I think it was almost like the city was kind of ashamed of its past, because we had been known as being, pretty wild town with Tom Pendergast running things. And so there was this, back when I first started playing, the clubs all closed at 1:00. There was no late night clubs. The irony was my first steady gig was with Greg Maye, and it was on the Kansas side. And of course, Kansas was real dry back then, but they did have private clubs, and the private clubs, because they were private, members only, that they were allowed, at least by the rules of Kansas, of the Kansas City, Kansas, that they could stay open till 3 a.m. And so my first gig in Kansas City was 6 nights a week playing at the Wild Hawker, and it was 11. We started at 11:00 and played till 3, and it was 6 nights a week. So, but I think the clubs on the Missouri side all closed at 1. I think it's just because the backlash from when the city cleaned up its image was, they didn't want to have anything to do with Pendergast, and the history was sort of like kind of hidden away, but now it's like it's celebrated, and we have, Boss Tom, we have references to that. So it's like we kind of rediscovered our history. We realized, well, I'm sure there was some things that were pretty shady going on, but man, Kansas City was the most happening jazz place, in the country in that time period. And it's kind of cool to just see it sort of be, recognized, on the different levels, especially the Green Lady Lounge, because now you have this iconic jazz place that's, got more jazz going on, per week than anywhere else that I can think of. Yeah. Multiple bands and music. When we start on Saturday at 2:30, we're just like the opening salvo. They've got bands that come after us and next door at the Black Dolphin. So yeah, I love the fact that my first recording is the Green Lady recording, because it just it's really been a renaissance for me.
That's the thing I think that's really wonderful about your career, is that, Kansas City really is on an upturn, and you're busy all the time. I mean, I see you in different incarnations. So you have your gig at the Green Lady, Kansas City Jazz Orchestra. What else is going on that people can look forward to catch you as the year ends and the new year begins?
Well, I've got, great associations. I play it at Chaz with Brian Hicks, and a long time playing with Brian, and I also play it there with Rich Hill. So I've got a lot of people that I love working with, and gosh, I'd say those are the main things right now. I'm not traveling as much as I used to because I'm really very content to be here. And traveling is getting harder and harder. So if I'm busy and I'm home, I'm very happy, because that's it's a lot less stressful. And every week's a little bit different. My most consistent thing is the Saturday afternoon at the Green Lady Lounge, and everything else just kind of goes through, things right now. I've been real busy with the Kansas City Jazz Orchestra. It's been a great season, and just played in Lawrence at the Liberty Hall. Did the annual Christmas dance there with KCJO, and so yeah, I'm just really having a great time.
So if everybody wants to properly support you, where is the best place for them to go to pick up this album? I know it's out on streaming services, but if they really want to benefit you and the project and the Green Lady, where's the best place to go?
The Green Lady, because we'll have the CDs there, and if I'll sell them right from the bandstand, I've set the price to where I didn't want to. I want people to hear it. I want people to buy it, and I want to make it affordable. So I'm charging $10 a CD, and I think that'd be the best place to get it. I haven't heard about anything actually being in any local stores, but of course anymore, where do you go to buy a CD anymore? It's really hard to find the usual places. But I guess there's a possibility maybe get it into Barnes and Noble, maybe. I don't know. We'll have to look at it down the road. But right now I say, if at all possible, come to the Green Lady. And I'm not sure. I think Ken Lovern's handling some of that business, so I think we'll have a better idea. We haven't really had the official CD release party yet, but I've got 100 of advanced copies that I'm already selling and getting out there. So
wonderful, Rod. Hey man, this has been great. I'm always we love seeing you out there. You're such a wonderful leader in this town and the jazz community. So thank you for taking a minute out. I look forward to seeing you many more times. So thank you for taking a minute out today. Good luck with the album and the holiday season in 2023.
Well, thanks, Joe. I appreciate that. Same to you.
Thanks for listening and tuning in to another Neon Jazz interview, where we give you a bit of insight into the finest players in Kansas City and spots all over the world, giving fans all that jazz. Thanks to Rod for his time, music, and energy, as always. If you want to hear more interviews, go to Famous Interviews with Joe Domino on either Spotify or iTunes. Visit neonjazz at youtube.com. And for everything Neon Jazz, all the time, go to the neonjazz.blogspot.com. Until next time, enjoy the jazz, my friends.
Neon Jazz.